Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and this is what I call my morning musings. I've been sharing with you a few thoughts about the resurrection. You know, very clearly when we studied the doctrine of eschatology, i.e. last things, the doctrine of the resurrection is fundamental, right? Okay. And we've been talking about the nature and the definition of the death of Adam. Since the resurrection at the second coming, the parousia of Christ, is to overcome the death of Adam, then pretty clearly, if the death of Adam was not physical, biological death, then the resurrection to overcome the death of Adam would not be a resurrection out of biological, physical death. That is so clear and so undeniable. And yet so many people miss that fundamental point. Well, what I want to share with you this morning and for a couple of sessions is to examine the resurrection from the perspective of the death of Adam, the death of Christ. And the reason this is important is because one of the most fundamental doctrines of Christianity is that Christ died in our place. He died a substitutionary death. He died so that we don't have to die. Well, it seems to me that very, very few people have really stopped to consider the implications of this doctrine, of this foundational doctrine of the entirety of Christianity. Consider the following with me. The death of Adam, the death introduced by Adam, is, or was, if you please, according to most Christians, biological, physical death. Jesus died the death of Adam in man's place, so that those in Christ, those in the power of his death, do not have to die the death of Adam. Do you see a train coming? You should. If Christ died the death of Adam, i.e. physical death, so that you and I do not have to die the death of Adam, then why is it that you and I, as children of God, redeemed by the blood of Christ, residing in the power of his death, residing in the power of his resurrection, why is it that you and I still have to die the death of Adam? Didn't Christ die so that I don't have to die the death of Adam? What happened? Listen to me. You cannot say that Christ died the death of Adam so that you and I don't have to die the death of Adam, and then turn around and say, oh yeah, we still die the death of Adam. What happened to the power of Jesus' substitutionary death? Now consider this with me. A man's son commits a heinous crime, is arrested, sent to prison, sentenced to death. The father, who is never guilty of a crime, steps forward and asks the governor, asks the president, may I die in my son's place? And the governor, the president says, but you're not guilty. And the father says, I know that, but I want to die in my son's place. President says, okay, you can die in his place. You can take his penalty on you. So they kill the father as the substitute for the son. And then they come to the son and say, well, time for us to execute you. Wait a minute, also. And the son says, wait a minute. My dad died in my place. Oh yeah, but you've got to die anyway. What happened to the substitutionary death? Folks, we can't argue that Christ died the death of Adam as a substitutionary death, and then say that all of those in Christ from the time of his death until the present moment still have to die the death of Adam. To say that I as a child of God, redeemed and forgiven, still have to die the death of Adam, says that Christ's death has done me no good at all. Do you see the problem? It's huge. Now, I developed this concept and this issue in my book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air, The Wedding of the King of Kings. And this material has been called some of the most profound, some of the most challenging material on the death of Adam available to anyone today. Now remember, when you order one of my books, go to my website, www.bibleprophecy.com, www.eschatology.org, order the book, mention that you saw the offer on YouTube, and I will refund your shipping. That's $4.95. So it'll save you almost $5. Just mention you saw the offer on YouTube. Again, let me say, the doctrine of the substitutionary death of Christ. Remember, he died the death of Adam, so you and I don't have to die the death of Adam. And yet, according to 99% of all Christians, even Christians have to die the death of Adam. There's something horribly, horribly wrong here that needs to be corrected. Only covenant eschatology, only the proper view of the death of Adam as alienation from God can properly explain the substitutionary death of Christ. Hey, thanks for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. We will see you on the flip side.